98. And when he was 18, he was working in a family business in Shaftesbury Avenue in the West End of London, and they had a 24-hour tyre and battery service. They would charge batteries, but they would go out and fit tyres to anything. But when he was 18, part of the family responsibility was taking food from restaurants in the West End to a small holding in Kent twice a week, and then he went to a factory that the family had making tyres in Maidstone, bringing them back up to London and putting some onto a market stall in Maidstone. And he got stopped in Maidstone Market by the authorities to say, have you registered for the army service? And he said no, and they took him away, and within 7 or 8 weeks he was on the front in northern France, and he was taken prisoner. Very fortunately, he got split up from his colleagues, and he resolved with one other colleague that if they went one way or the other, they might run into English troops or German troops, and they decided to go. They found a dugout with some injured German prisoners or injured German soldiers, and they used their own British wound dressings to patch up these wounded German soldiers. And bear in mind, this was now early 1917, and the first wave of troops that came, if they were English, they knew they'd be saved. If they were German, they'd be shot. As it happened, a wave of German troops came in, and the young lieutenant who was in charge of these soldiers said to my uncle, I recognise you from the West End of London. I've either bought tyres in your shop or you have delivered and picked pig food up from our restaurant. And he was a prisoner of war for 18 months. I have since the 4th of August this year, through the British Red Cross or the Red Cross of Croix Rouge International, found the 3 prisoner of war camps he was kept in. I have found the date that he was repatriated to Britain through Dover, 27th of November 1918. Come right up to World War II, all of our houses were bombed and we were evacuated to Oxford. My Uncle George had a daughter, older than I am, who went dancing every Saturday night as a 16 or 17-year-old to a public dance hall in Oxford, where up till 10 or 11 o'clock at night, German prisoners of war who were working on farms in the area were given a night out, and my cousin came home to her dad and said, I've met a boy that I want to bring home and meet you, and he had been captured as a paratrooper in northern France at 16, a German boy, and he persuaded my old uncle after he married my cousin, don't buy an English car, although you work for Morris Motors in Cowley, you can get a good discount, buy a German car. And 9 years after he had met my cousin, they went for the first time in 1955 to Kaiserslautern in Germany, which was his hometown, and he introduced my uncle to a German Volkswagen dealers where he got all the brochures. He decided there and then he would go back to England after Christmas and the New Year, order his Volkswagen Beetle. I've got the German brochures, I've got the English brochures equivalent from the dealership in Oxford where he bought it, and he bought it from a firm. They were in Oxford. Absolutely incredible story, but totally true, totally true. And that's why I bought my Beetle on the day that my mum died, because my uncle came up to be with my dad at my mum's bedside while she was dying, and he said, John, you won't see the Beetle anymore. I've traded it in because I'm retiring at the age of 66. I'm coming up to live in London and we don't need 2 cars in the family. Your cousin's already got a car. So I said to him, how much have they offered you for it? He said, £235, and I bought it off of him for £235. And although I've lost my driving licence through my eyesight, my car is still in my name, it's insured in my wife's name, and they have valued it at £22,000.
Wow.
Plus the value of the number plate, which is 1956 VW, 1956 VW. Thereby hence the sale.